On my own journey to discover what skills I could repurpose from my PhD that I didn't complete, and trying to get out of science research. I was in the lab doing molecular genetics, plant biology, and I was like, this stuff is causing a level of confusion for me because I identified that I wasn't doing something that I really wanted to do. And at the time, I couldn't find a mentor really. And, often we use the words mentor, coach, consultant. And sometimes you don't need a coach or a consultant because you have no idea what you want to do, which is why you need a mentor. The mentor is supposed to say, based on what you've done, what might you want to do? And then you explore those avenues. And it's really you leaning on an outside perspective to redirect you to more of what it sounds like you're enjoying. So I found that when people inbox me oftentimes about, they don't like their job. Sometimes it's not even that you don't like the job, so to speak. You don't like the skills you're utilizing on the job. You thought you were going to be doing something else. Or you may not like the people. You may not like the company culture. Other times it's you don't like the industry. But most times we don't know how to begin to navigate those things. It's if you're stuck in the, I would call it like rumination, just you keep questioning, you keep complaining. Actually, you might not even really be questioning. You just know that something is wrong and you can't even formulate the right questions to ask yourself to push you towards selecting what it is that you should be doing. To me, that's more of a mentor role. And so I tell a little bit of my journey where I basically had to, in a lot of ways, mentor myself. So 7-ish years ago, actually take it back 10 years ago, I graduated from undergrad with a degree in biochemistry. I'd done plant biology research, plant biotechnology. For some people, they understand that more. And basically, I was genetically modifying plants. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I was really into the technology part of it. It was only recently that I recognized it was actually engineering. It's ironic, right? Because most people are not in STEM. They're not all 4 letters of STEM. The way my brain works, I hit on each of those 4, but I also do it from an agriculture lens. So the reason why I'm saying that is that there are plenty of people who have science brains that they're turned off by agriculture. They're turned off by plants. They would never work in that space. And I absolutely loved it. Right. So that was like start of conflict number one, because I couldn't necessarily find anyone doing what I was doing. And when I got in my PhD program, I was the only Black. I think I was the first black woman that they'd had, or even a Black student. I don't remember now. It's been, again, 10 years, and it was strange. Like it was weird that other people were entering this program where exactly what they were doing in the PhD, that entire skill set, that mindset, that industry knowledge, the types of conferences they went to, they had experienced that starting around. Some of them were from farming backgrounds, so in childhood all the way up to young adulthood, or it was something that they started to do at the age of 18 when they first entered undergrad. It was not the case for me. I ended up in agriculture because I didn't like emotionally how I felt about selecting a medical career on an internship. So other people might identify that pretty early in life, but some of my, childhood experiences. My sister passed away when I was 15 from a lifelong health condition, biliary atresia. I thought I wanted to do medicine, right? Because I wanted to contribute to something that would have benefited her or people like her, only to find out that was not my path. But how do you find a mentor working on liver diseases? It wasn't a thing in our location. Like a lot of the experts were on the other side of the country. The second thing is when you decide to take your biochem degree and go and study plants at my university, which was a small HBCU, no one else was doing that. If they were in the biology department, and they also found their way into the agriculture research because as an institution, we were an agricultural school, but we didn't necessarily do the type of research at tier one, like the Penn States of the world who get lots of agriculture funding. We got like a small bucket of funding. So we also didn't necessarily have the professors that were available at Penn State. So I paint all of this picture to basically say my ability to be mentored was limited on the people that I was experiencing day to day. So when I think about now, people are, they're in college. Some of them complete, some of them don't. You have the college graduates who never go and work a day in their field of choice. And a lot of it is that based on the experiences that you had, you didn't necessarily see or identify with what you were seeing, what you were experiencing, or what other people's experiences were. So I really like YouTube and social media, Instagram, Facebook, for the sake of being able to share my journey, find people who also STEM career are kind of, I don't want to say you've been led astray because that's not necessarily true. Sometimes it's just you've been led into a position and it doesn't work for you, right? What do I mean by that? You may have gotten skills and discipline specific training that it doesn't work for the company that you work for, or maybe it doesn't work for the job role that you have at the company. Maybe you should be applying that skill set to a different industry and not the one that you're in. Or maybe you were even given a job and you don't get to use the skills that you thought you would get to use, which is adding to your level of frustration. And sometimes it's difficult on the front end to identify, like, for me, I don't necessarily like project management, but the field that I shifted into after doing the 4 years of the PhD was, and again, I quit, so no degree. I decided not to work in that field at all, and I switched into what I thought was digital marketing. Well, when I got in there, I thought I was going to be doing analytics, Google Analytics. Yes, I was doing Google Analytics, but what I recognized was that I was doing way more project management. I was doing way more, hey, why don't we have this written down? Where did we find this information? How do we know who to talk to? When do we talk to them? And they didn't have meeting cadences. They didn't have, intake forms for the tagging requests. They didn't have a standard procedure on how they built reporting. No one necessarily looked at the reports that they requested to be built. And so instead of doing analytics, like sending them reports on their marketing, I began to do basically people analytics and team analytics and discover, oh, there's some science training in there that correlates with a need that's missing in this space. So in science, for context, if you're in the lab, you're basically supposed to write down everything you do. You're supposed to date it. You have a specific way of doing your lab journal. If you make a mistake, you can only draw one line through it and write above it, type of thing. Like, you don't get to blank things out. So a lot of templates and recipes for how to run experiments, because you need that documentation to validate the next time that you come back. You're never going to remember the one thing you changed. All of those things are, unfortunately, for the people that have worked with me over the last 4 years, that training is what I keep returning to. They don't understand it because they're like, we've never documented what the tags are and how they correlate to different reports. We've never documented what teams these reports are for and how it translates to the business bottom line. Even though, by the way, guys, this is in the job description, it's not necessarily being done. So that's also what I meant by, you may think that you got a job based on the job description, and then you get in the industry and that's not quite the job you're doing. So for me, when I transitioned over into digital analytics, it caused the same amount of frustration. And ultimately, I've been able to transition from working a job to working contracts to business owner, because those things, those consistent frustrations taught me that for me, it's not necessarily important that I work a job to get income. It's that I identify how I can get streams of income and then putting those in place. So my goal is that maybe there's somebody like me out there. They're frustrated by what they thought they were going to be doing. They're not doing it. They may like the career, they may like the industry, they may like the job. They just don't like where they're doing it. They may want to do it in a different industry. They may want to do a different part of their job description that they're not getting to do. I'm here to help those people. And I hope that my content and my mentoring program helps you achieve that. So, who mentoring is for? Mentoring is for people who know that they're facing some problem, some resistance, you know, some unhappiness, something's clashing, but you just haven't identified what steps you need to take to alleviate the issue. That's mentoring. You have not identified how to fix your problem. You just know you have a problem. The coaching is more you've identified the problem, you have decided on out of, for me, my clients, I give them 6 options. You've picked either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, all 6 options, and then we work through those together. And then the consulting program is more so you've been doing either 1 or 6, all 6 of those options from the coaching platform and program, and you just want me to do your marketing, advertising, and sales, where I systematize it, and you're no longer having to do your sales and your communication of your skill set. So I hope you all enjoy this video. I hope it starts to make some sense as to my purpose and what I like to do, which is to bring freedom, systems, and process around who we all naturally are. Thanks.